I think it could be helpful. I'm thinking about listeners hearing this and understanding what we're saying conceptually. And I'm wondering if we could talk about how do people know if they're engaging in the surface stuff? Like, what kinds of things would they be thinking and feeling and doing as individuals or even in their organization? And I know that this question could be answered with a lot of things. So maybe we don't have to name everything, but give people a sense of if you're doing this stuff and this is what's happening in you, you're likely at the surface level. What
Mm-hmm.
do you think about what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And I can give you a short response. I think that if it feels
I got
good,
it.
I got it.
Mm.
If it feels good and you're in there and you're like, yeah, this is working, I'm feeling good. And you leave the session or whatever it is, like the time together, the training, like, oh, yeah, I feel good. Then you're engaging in surface levels. Because
Mm.
if you really want to
Mm.
change
Wow.
and you really want to interact differently and transform, it's not going to feel good. And I think that's like us as social workers. I think that's why we're good at this type of work because like we understand, we incorporate like the clinical aspects of social work into this DEI work. Like the general
Mhm.
frame or term that I use is anti-racist or anti-racism, like intersectional anti-racist work for myself.
Mhm.
But it doesn't like, again, taking it back to social work, therapy doesn't feel good. When we were in school, hearing it gets worse before it gets better, that's how you
Mhm.
know that you're changing or that growth is happening when it
Mm.
doesn't feel good. Like issues of race and like all of its intersections, that's some heavy, long-term standing that we have to work through. And that's why we stay at the surface level because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. We don't want to. I've changed it. I used to say we have to look at our dirty insides, but I've changed that framing a little bit
Mm.
because I don't feel like at the core our insides are dirty. It's just at our core, like our insides are good and pure. And all these layers that have been added to it that we've been socialized through,
Mm.
that those are the layers that we have to start to pull back. And that's not easy. Like that's really hard. So yeah. So just getting back to answering your question, if knowing you're at the surface level is when you feel good, and knowing that you're actually doing the work is when it doesn't feel good and it's hard. And when you want to leave, I think that's another thing. I'll tell you, I've been fired from a couple of potential
Oh.
like consulting jobs because folks are like, well, that's not really what I was looking for. Or, that's not really what we had in mind. And my take is because what I offered was doing more of the deep work. If it's within an organization, building that what I call professional intimacy. If you're serious about this and you want to transform culture in whatever group that you're in or that you're a part of, like you have to build intimacy. And I say professional intimacy to make people feel a little better, safer about in being intimate with like their colleagues again, because that's not what we've been socialized to, how we've been
Mm.
socialized to interact in the workplace. Because this work is hard and it's personal, you have to build trust amongst the people that you're working with.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's why, yeah, some folks that I'm not
Mm.
working with them is
Mhm.
because they're like, no, that's not what we had in mind, or that's
Mm.
not what we need. Which,
Yes.
I'm fine with it because
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Agree with everything that you said. And I love the way it started with, okay, the answer is really easy. It's when it feels really good. And I just flashed to so many situations where that makes so much sense. And it's really interesting because as someone who leads this work, encourages this work, there's a lot of expectation setting that I try to do up front with, okay, this is going to be a great thing and it's going to be a struggle. And there's something about the upfrontness that still doesn't capture the reality of the situation.
Mhm.
And whether it's individuals, teams, or groups, there is this inevitable place that people and organizations will reach where it's real, it requires a lot. In your terms, professional intimacy. In mine, I don't call it a bunch of things. It's just the messiness of the work. And it really just touches on requiring us to look at ourselves.
Mhm.
When it gets there, people either stop, pull back, or even something that I wonder is an undertone of what you're saying, I have experienced, or even blame. So when people don't feel good about the work, if there are struggle points or it looks like it's not going well, they leave a meeting or a situation and it's heavy, there is an association to that experience that this isn't the right way to do it. And that is not accurate. Now, it is within the realm of possibility that things aren't going well because it's not a good approach. That's obviously a thing for us to acknowledge. However, it is a very common experience that people reach that place. It doesn't feel good. And then there's so many reasons that come up that we rationalize as humans that no, this isn't the right way to do it, or I'm going to escape because of my own personal stuff, or as an organization, we don't got time to do it, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But the blame thing is the one that I, as a person leading this work, and I think this is relevant to either someone who has the actual job, committee work, consultants, people leading this work, when people experience that struggle area, the people leading get blamed that it's not working and it's not good. Especially, well, let me just say that they get blamed. And oftentimes there hasn't been enough time put in to even experience the change. And I just don't love that association between it's doesn't feel good, that means it's not working well. Something needs to change. The person or the group leading it, oh, we've got to stop. We need to do something else. And then there's an escape back to comfort.